CBT. What is it? Why is it arguably one of the most commonly used theories in counseling settings? How is it helpful? How can we implement it into everyday life? Well, I'm here to answer all those questions. Thanks for being here. I'm Laura Nicola. I'm your faithful therapist. So what is CBT? Not to be confused with CBD. Some clients have kind of, fumbled over their words and said that, and it provides a comical moment. But what is CBT? It's cognitive behavioral therapy. And it's, like I said, arguably one of the most commonly used theories in counseling settings. Why is that? Well, probably because it's one of the most effective theories. I think it's really concrete and very implementable, if that's a word, implementable. You can implement it easily, let's say that. So I really like teaching it because it's very, very practical. So I'm going to give my little 5-minute spiel of what it is, and hopefully it's helpful and can be implemented in your day-to-day life. So just a tiny background. CBT was developed by Aaron Beck in the 1960s. He was a psychiatrist. And he found that the people that he was working with had narratives in their head about their life, and their thoughts really predicted their behaviors. And so he started kind of putting together, okay, this connection between a person's narrative and kind of internal world, almost having a dialogue with themselves, and mental health issues. So basically, kind of overhead definition of CBT is that it looks at thought patterns and belief systems that can contribute to self-destructive behaviors. And then it talks about, what do we do with that, right? Essentially, it teaches us how to modify our behavior and add in coping skills in order to help us alleviate those negative thoughts. CBT can be used for like a huge, wide range of mental health issues. I think it's most effective, I think, according to research, for things like depression and anxiety, but it can be used for all sorts of things. It can be used for bipolar disorder. It can be used for eating disorders. It can be used for a whole gamut of anxiety disorders. It really can be used for, in my opinion, practically anything, because again, all it's doing is catching the thoughts that we have in our head and trying to modify them if needed. So, my little spiel, I have a little visual here because I'm a visual learner, so I thought it might be helpful. So when I'm in a session with clients and I'm teaching CBT, I literally just jot these 4 things down on a piece of paper. And here's my little quick explanation of what it is. So you start with a situation. So that's step number 1. So you start with a situation, and from there leads to automatic thoughts about that situation. From there leads to emotions, from there leads to behaviors, and then the cycle just continues. Now, humans, to no fault of our own, sometimes think that, okay, we have a situation and we jump immediately to an emotion. We were in a grocery store and all of a sudden I'm panicked. Well, we have to backtrack and say, what was I thinking that led to those emotions? Because that's one of the kind of common things of CBT to teach, is that thoughts always precipitate emotion. So we have to be really cognizant of what kind of cognitions we're having, what kind of thoughts we're having, because that impacts our emotion. And then our emotion kind of dictates how we behave, whether that's in a healthy or unhealthy way. So this graphic, I usually suggest that, we are in charge of working on the horizontal axis. So we have the power to change our thoughts, and we have the power to change our behavior. The vertical line, the vertical axis, we don't always have control over. So we can't always change our situation, and we can't inherently change our emotion. I always tell people, I can't wake up and just say, I'm going to be happy all day. That would be great if I could just will that, but I can't. I have to think about ways that make me happy. I have to think positively. I have to believe that I can be happy, And I have to implement behaviors that actually lend me to being happy that day. Maybe that's, a positive coping skill or spending time with family because that makes me happy. Whatever it is, I have to put that into existence in order for it to happen. So we're in control, again, of that horizontal axis. We're in charge of our thoughts and we're in charge of our behaviors. So let me give you an example. This is the example I always give to clients in kind of my little 5-minute teaching spiel. So let's say the situation that you have is you want to lose weight. Okay, pretty common, right? Automatic thoughts. I've tried this before and it hasn't worked. I am embarrassed to go to the gym because I'm overweight. Every time that I've tried this before, it hasn't worked out. I'm really too tired to even get myself motivated to go. Okay. Some thoughts, right? As an example. Those thoughts lead me to having an emotion of disappointment, of feeling stuck, of maybe falling into depression. If I'm already kind of in a depressed state, it might lead me more into a depression. It might cause anxiety thinking about, judgment at the gym or something. And all those emotions then lead me to a behavior. Behavior can be either doing something or the absence of doing something. In this situation, I usually say it actually causes me not to do anything. So the emotions are so intense that it actually shuts me down. So I don't go to the gym. I could tell myself, yeah, maybe next week. But the discouragement that I feel just really causes me not to take any steps forward. Well, this is where the behavior connects back up to the situation. Next week or tomorrow or this afternoon, I'm going to be in the same state and have the same situation presented to me. So what do I do about it? Well, horizontal axis. I can change my thoughts about it or I can change my behavior. So I usually suggest, okay, come back to the thoughts. Can I poke holes at these thoughts? Can I kind of create more of a reality to them? Can I be more positive about them? Okay, let's try. Well, yes, I've tried this before, but I haven't used an accountability partner. So there's still things to try to make it different. Nobody's going to be judging me at the gym because they're all in their own world doing their own workouts. So I shouldn't be worried about that. Even if they are judging me, who cares? Like, that doesn't impact me. That's just a thought that I have in my head that's going to happen. It's not necessarily true. Positive thoughts, like, okay, well, maybe I can get creative and not do the gym. Maybe I can do a home workout or something. Okay. Those more positive thoughts decrease my negative emotions just a little bit, but also increase, okay, like I have a little bit more optimism. I have a little bit more hope because I've thought about things differently. Okay, does that motivate me to have a different behavior then? Because I can also change my behavior. I can just force myself to go. I can sign up for a class and so I have money invested, so I have to go. I could take a friend with me. I could do a home workout. I could, get a trainer so I feel more equipped to handle the weights, whatever the case may be. But you can see how that then would come back up to the situation. So my situation is changed now. It's, I want to keep going. I want to create a habit of exercising now. And maybe those thoughts kind of lead to even more positive thoughts of, okay, it's not about me losing weight. It's about me being healthy. So we change our narrative about the whole situation in general, which is also very effective. Two videos ago, I think, I did cognitive distortions, and I kind of did these in backwards order. I probably should have introduced CBT first. That's okay. Cognitive distortions, go watch the video if you want to know what those fully are. Basically, the automatic thought portion of the cycle is where cognitive distortions come in. So we fall into these categories of thinking that affect our narrative of our whole cycle. So sometimes it's also helpful to kind of call those labels out when we come to those automatic thoughts and we're trying to change them. For example, one of them is I'm jumping to a conclusion. So, okay, like my more positive thought when I go around the cycle the second time, I could say, you know what? I'm totally jumping to a conclusion that people are going to judge me at the gym, you know? Or another example of a distortion would be like a should statement. Well, I should go to the gym because my doctor said so. Okay, well, I have to decide that that's right for me. You know, again, if I'm pigeonholed into just going to the gym, but I have no motivation and I don't want to, it's not going to go super well. And I'll probably feel worse about myself. So if I call that out, hey, that's a distorted thought that I should just because someone said so. Okay, how do I rework that? You know, well, I decided already that I'm more a cyclist. So you know what? I'm going to do my Peloton. I don't know. And that changes, again, the narrative of the distorted thought that I have. So go look up that video as well, you know, and kind of see them in tandem because they're related, obviously. Those are a few examples. Again, super basic. Again, all we're doing is we're focusing on the horizontal of the cycle. So we're saying, how can I change my thoughts about this? And how can I change my behaviors about this? And then those will impact our situation and they'll impact the emotion that we're having, hopefully to reduce, you know, negative emotion and increase or add in more positive emotion. So you can use this at any point, at any time, which again makes it so practical and concrete and usable that it's amazing. So try it out. This is, again, very basic, right? You know, this is a 10-minute video or however long this is going to be. So, you know, there's more to it, but start with the basics, you know, and just practice it. You know, see if changing my thought about a situation has an impact on the cycle. I guarantee it will. So practice it. Let me know what you think about CBT. And, you know, if this answers some questions, I hope it does. If you're interested in doing it further, obviously find a therapist that is trained in CBT. Most are, because again, it's so common. So seek it out for yourself. And, you know, as always, just thanks for educating yourself. Thanks for being here. And I wish you many blessings on this Saturday. As always, you know, follow me on my platforms, subscribe if you haven't, and stay tuned for more videos. Okay, blessings.